Thank you, Jeff, for introduction. My name is Nodir Ruzmatov, and I'm from Uzbekistan, representing Central Asia. And our focus is here today is Central Asia and Mongolia, which is an exotic region for United States, because we don't really heard about Central Asia much in this kind of event. But first of all, let me begin with a personal moment that when I graduated from UC Berkeley, I walked with my son, and there was a hero in that room, who's my mother, who raised me, who contributed, and whatever I am today, whatever achievements I achieved, it's due to her. So I just want to thank her for raising me. And today I'm here at the Stanford, and Mom, thank you very much for everything you did. The reason I share my personal story, because of every success, there is heroes in it, and there is people who support this idea. And I'm from Uzbekistan, the tiny country in Central Asia, which is far from here. And it was really, it was a big dream for me to come here to represent Uzbekistan or region Central Asia, because Central Asia and Mongolia considered as a remote region for United States. But today, because of the critical mineral is becoming more important, and our region is becoming more important than ever. And today we're not asking for the seat on a table, but we are creating our own table in the world and in the shape of geopolitics. So, but let me ask you, how many of you heard of or been to Central Asia and Mongolia? Raise your hand. Okay, quite a few. So Central Asia holds one of the largest reserves of uranium and one of the largest reserves of gold. And Mongolia is building one of the largest copper mine in the world. And it is run by Rio Tinto, and it's one of the largest and fascinating projects in the world. So, and I'm especially honored alongside with two extraordinary leaders today, Deirdré Lingenfelder and Stephanie Ashton, who have helped shape responsible mining and investment across the region. So let me start with a short video about the region and fascinating project in Mongolia from Oyu Tolgoi.
Are we going to get sound? All good. All right.
In one of the most remote and rugged parts of Mongolia, a bold vision took shape. From the vast emptiness of the desert, massive blue steel buildings, warehouses, and towering shafts began to rise. This was the birth of Oyu Tolgoi. In 1990, as Mongolia embraced democracy, the country faced both excitement and uncertainty. The move to a free market economy brought challenges and opportunities. Leaders, scholars, and experts worked day and night to chart a new course. They came to a key realization. Foreign investment in Mongolia's mining sector could drive growth and prosperity.
I remember presenting our Oyu Tolgoi findings at the PDAC convention in March 1999. Ivanhoe Mines, one of the companies attending, expressed interest and soon joined the project. That summer, we drilled 108 holes, over 8,800 meters in total.
Then, in 2006, a global powerhouse entered the story. Rio Tinto joined as a strategic partner, ready to help bring the project to life. but before shovels could hit the ground, a strong legal framework had to be put in place. After years of intense negotiation, the Oyu Tolgoi investment agreement was signed in October 2009. With the ink dry, construction began in 2010. Because of its remote location, almost everything had to be brought in or built from scratch. In just 2.5 years, a once empty stretch of desert was transformed into a world-class mining operation. Oyu Tolgoi's Oyut open-pit mine began operations in April 2012, just months after the first overburden was removed in August 2011. Later that year, the site's centerpiece, the Oyu Tolgoi concentrator, was completed. It remains the largest industrial facility in Mongolia today. While construction above ground captured the world's attention, a quieter but equally ambitious journey was unfolding far below the surface. As the surface facilities took shape, teams underground were hard at work, conducting studies, developing technology, and laying the foundation for safe and sustainable mining operations. The underground project kept moving forward, powered by resilience, collaboration, and strong support from stakeholders and shareholders alike. Then, in January 2022, the team reached a major milestone. The first undercut blast was completed, unlocking access to the ore body. Just a few months later, in June 2022, the first underground drawbell was successfully fired. Finally, in March 2023, underground production officially began, coinciding with the 100th anniversary of Mongolia's mining industry, a historic milestone for the country and a proud moment for everyone involved. At full capacity, the underground mine is expected to produce up to 500,000 tons of copper per year, cementing Oyu Tolgoi's place as one of the most important copper mines in the world. From space photos to desert drill holes, from bold dreams to steel and stone, Oyu Tolgoi is a remarkable story of discovery, determination, and global collaboration, one that continues to shape the future of Mongolia and beyond.
Thank you very much. Now I'll invite two of our speakers. So I want to introduce Deirdré Lingenfelder. She's also known as a D. She's the CEO of Oyu Tolgoi, senior leader as a Rio Tinto Copper Group. Dee is a seasonal global executive with over 2 decades of experience across the mining resource sector. She has led transformative work in strategy, sustainability, operation, and organization change across Africa, Australia, and Asia. Her leadership is defined by the deep commitment building diverse team, prioritizing environmental responsibility, and supporting the world's transition to low-carbon economy. Please welcome Dee, CEO of Oyu Tolgoi. Thank you. And our second speaker is Stephanie Ashton. I'm pleased to introduce her. She's native Californian. Stephanie began her career in 1996 in Chile, where she spent 16 years working with a small team of explorers develop copper and gold deposits across Chile, Peru, Brazil, Colombia, and Turkey. Since returning to the US, she has worked closely with IG Global for the past 5 years, developing copper, gold, and lithium assets in Utah, California, Nevada, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia. Stephanie has co-founded over a dozen of the companies tied to specific mineral assets, including diamond drilling company that she has served in Chile and Argentina since 2011, she also responsible for raising capital, building corporate partnerships, structuring strategic transactions from ventures to asset sales. Please welcome Stephanie. We'll start.
Let's start first. Yeah.
We'll stand, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to stand.
I won't stand in the way up against it. I'll stand at this side.
So do I need this one or this one? Can use this one. Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to be here and to see a sea of faces in front of me. Thanks to Jeff and the organizing team for giving us space. So I didn't see all the hands up that were up earlier, but I specifically would like to know who's gone to Mongolia, just to get an idea. Okay, we're going to change that by the end of this presentation. I'm hoping to, at the next Mineral X, see a lot more hands up. So firstly, Deirdré Lingenfelder, or Dee, as Nodir just said. I was born in Johannesburg, quintessential mining town. I grew up playing on the tailings dams in Joburg, sliding down. I think I inhaled so much tailings dust, I have mining in my blood, literally, as a result. But as Nodir said, I worked across many different 6 continents and 20 countries in my career, so I've been very privileged that mining has taken me to very far-flung and remote places across the world. Worked as operations, just worked my way up through operations, sustainability, corporate roles, and now the absolute privilege to lead Oyu Tolgoi, and also to lead Oyu Tolgoi during a foundational and transformational part of the company's very short history, but very long future that's ahead of Oyu Tolgoi. I live in Mongolia at the moment, and it is a fascinating, high-energy place to live. So hopefully you will add that to your list of places to visit. So firstly, mining is no longer just about extraction. I think that was echoed through the conversations we've had up to now. It is about transformation, inclusion, technology, and very importantly, bring a positive impact to the countries where mining operates. And it's very true for Oyu Tolgoi. Oyu Tolgoi is a big part of the Mongolian story, big part of GDP, and I'm hoping we'll put Mongolia on the map for 4 or 5 other Oyu Tolgoi-sized mines to be established in the country. So the story is not just about the copper mine. I think it's a commitment across generations. So to put it in perspective, since 2012, when the surface mine opened, to 2023, when we started the underground mining, it's 10 years, 12 years into a journey that could potentially be 80 to 100 years. There's 5.5 billion tons of economically viable resources underground at Oyu Tolgoi. And that's just OT. I'm sure if you throw a rock in either direction around the mine, you will probably find another one. What was not on the presentation was that the very last exploration hole that was drilled, which was budget would have run out at that point, this incredible underground resource was found. So I think the story about exploration and fast firming up is incredibly important, especially in the Mongolian context. Creating prosperity together, that's the tagline of our strategy. You can find it on our website. Please read through it. It is about people, planet, partnership, and very importantly, profit. I do agree as a sustainability expert that if you aren't able to turn profit, it's very hard to deliver on any of the other commitments made. But let me spark your curiosity with a couple of facts about Oyu Tolgoi. It's the safest mine across Rio Tinto, our majority shareholder. 66% of Oyu Tolgoi is owned by Rio Tinto and 34% is owned by the government of Mongolia. 97.5%, because we like to be accurate, % of our workforce is Mongolian. And these were miners that had to be taught, trained, and made capable to run one of the biggest block cave mines in the world. 23% are female, and we have a target of 50% female by 2035. And these are Currently, we have about 1,000 female operators. They run the 930 Ikamatsu haul trucks, which are the very big haul trucks. They also operate our underground road trains, which are massive pieces of kit. They operate our winders, which is one of the most technically specific jobs to do in the mine, and they do so effectively. We have around 930 suppliers to the mine, and 700 of those are local suppliers. Now, that did not happen by chance. That was a deliberate effort to make sure we invest. And I think the success of mining is anchored in this, is showing the social investment, but also the benefit from the mines. We do quite a bit in reforestation. Mongolia's got a billion-tree project that it's running, and we committed 100 million trees to this project. I know it sounds a bizarrely high number, but we're getting there. We're at 20 million at the moment, and we've completely rehabilitated provinces outside of where we operate, where there were mining impacts. And then, as the slide or the video said, we're ramping up towards 500,000 tons of copper on average between 2028 and 2036. This year, we'll be producing 60% more copper than we did last year, and the year prior, it was 20% more than the year before. So it's a massively sharp improvement. Then I want to talk about technology and innovation, because without ramping up technology and innovation, it's not possible to develop mines at this scale and have a positive impact. I was really impressed to see some of the research that is happening here, because I do think it talks to the challenges that we've had to deal with. And one of the areas I really want to talk about is our underground mine, and where we've got a fully integrated copper business, one of the most monitored block caves in the world. We've got thousands, up to 5,000 sensors that run through the block cave. So we know every second of every day what is happening in that cave. We know where all our people are in the cave, and we've got a complete digital twin that integrates 30 different software programs. Thousands and thousands of data points are turned into information that our teams can react to immediately to adjust our strategies. And the underground mine is where 80% of the value of this incredible business lies, and therefore we need to understand what's happening at every moment. So block cave mining, I'm not sure how many people are familiar with block cave mining. It's massively capital intensive upfront. This is a $14 billion investment to get to this point, but once you start mining, it is a very, very efficient business. We'll be in the first quartile in terms of the cost curve, so it's a very productive way of mining once you get through the hurdles of permitting, agreement signing, and the construction. One of the other areas that we've focusing on is making sure that we track everything that's happening in the business real time. So we've got what we call an asset health monitoring system. It's a bit like listening to the heartbeat of Oyu Tolgoi. And it's literally, we listen to the sound that our equipment's making, we listen to the sound the concentrator's making, and we get real-time data so that the teams can respond from the central control room, and we can deal with issues before it becomes a huge problem. So copper, a critical mineral, that's why we're all here and why we're having these conversations today. For every mile of transmission, 6 tons of copper is needed. There's just not enough copper, I think, even with recycling, to satisfy the need. And with the push for sustainability, which is a topic very close to my heart, it's clear that copper is not an optional, it's essential. So we're also like to just mention our within Rio Tinto, there's the Kennecott operation in Utah. Who knows about the Kennecott more? I would expect a lot more than Oyu Tolgoi. So it's producing copper, but also there is a commitment with Kennecott and the Resolution Project, which should get up and running, which is an incredible ore body in itself, to provide copper for the US markets. So at OT, we share the mindset that we're not just producing, we are preparing for opportunities, and also looking at opportunities to move downstream as we advance. And then allow me, before I wrap up, a couple of words about Mongolia. So the slogan that the government uses is "Go Mongolia, always moving," and that is incredibly apt. I think the herder culture and mindset is in every person in the country. Mongolia is roughly the size of Alaska, and it's one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world. So 1 person per 2 square kilometers. So if you like space, it is the place to go. And also traveling around the countryside, you can see technology in the gers. It's like a yurt that the herders live in. And it's fascinating for me to see camels standing under solar panels to get away from the sun, because these gers are equipped with solar panels and technology. And it's just a fascinating juxtaposition. The video alluded to it. Mongolia has transformed into a vibrant democracy and really navigating a tough geopolitical situation, being nestled between China and Russia. I can tell you it does present its challenges for us as well, because it's a landlocked country. The supply chain is an area that we need to keep an eye on, but I don't think we would have been able to do that without the strong relationship with the government of Mongolia, helping us navigate the geopolitical situation that we're in. So, a couple of silver linings. Mongolia has a balanced foreign policy, and it's a strength. It's got a third neighbour policy, so building relationships with countries like Australia, Europe, UK, US is where the government is focused. I'm not an expert in the field, but I think the foreign policy, based on my 3.5 years in the country, is putting the country on an unprecedented quest to strengthen relations. It's located next to China. OT is about 100 kilometers from the China border, which does consume most of the copper in the world. So for us, we don't see it we see it as a gateway, not a wall. I'd also like to invite you. 11th to 13th of September this year is the mining week. I think this is the 3rd year, or is it the 4th year? 3rd or 4th? That mining week is happening in Mongolia, just outside of Ulaanbaatar. So if you have a gap in your schedule, please come and visit so we can showcase what Mongolia has to offer.
Have you turned this on?
Do you want to do the next presentation?
Yeah. Thank you, Dee. And our next presentation is by Stephanie. Stephanie?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here and listening to my presentation. My name is Stephanie Ashton. I'm with IG Global Group. We have a subsidiary called IG Asia, which operates in Kazakhstan and Mongolia. And Deirdré did an incredible job of presenting Mongolia, and I really fully support everything she said. So I'll be focusing a little bit more on Kazakhstan. I would like to have a disclaimer and forward-looking statements, but I feel like I'm in the crowd that understands these things. So hopefully you will know that there's a lot of uncertainties in exploration. IG Asia is a privately held exploration group. We have a world-class team and a founder that's pretty unusual. I'll explain more about him. Our expertise is exploration, and copper is a special expertise of ours. We have an advanced copper asset in Kazakhstan. We have a clear focus of where we're going with that. We also have in-house drilling capabilities, because not just from the capital advantage of recycling your own capital that you're using, but because our geologists want to have the real-time loop to the drilling. So they want to see the core the day it comes out, and that's a pretty interesting concept of direct information. We have strong community and government relationships, and we have some technology that we have invented ourselves, or are applying ourselves. So please meet Tom Bowens. I'm so privileged to work with him. He's such a visionary. He's a Colorado School of Mines geologist. He began his career in Mongolia, in fact, with Harrods Minerals, and then with Ivanhoe Mines. He was not actually working on Oyu Tolgoi itself. He was exploring all of the other properties that they had. And he then joined Lundin Mining, who was also involved in Oyu Tolgoi at one point, took them to Far East Russia to go to an easier place to operate, which I'm not quite sure about that judgment, but apparently Mongolia turned a little bit difficult. So while in Far East Russia, Lundin Group decided to exit, and Tom did a management buyout of a property called Malmish, and he opened up a whole new district and discovered a large copper gold porphyry copper system, which has over 7.2 million tons of copper equivalent. It took him 10 years. He did it during the very difficult years of 2010 and 2018, which were very poor commodity markets in general. And he has got a lot of stories to tell about that. But he eventually sold it to Russia Copper for 200 million. He also, while in Russia, discovered a gold property called Svetloy, which he also tried to buy from Lundin, but he was outbid by another company. When it sold, it was 1.4 million tons of gold, ounces of gold, and today it's produced over 5 million ounces. So he's a pretty good explorer. He took his money and decided to go to the Tintic district of Utah, which is a famous 100-year-old mining district with incredible grades that are legendary, and took a bunch of historic information, reprocessed it, and posited that there was this high-grade zone if we just opened this one shaft and kind of drilled over to it. So we started that business, and the drilling was so difficult because of the hard Tintic quartzite that Tom just said, you guys just blast to it. It's faster and cheaper, let's do it. We blasted 40 feet, and our first phase samples were 36 ounce per ton, 56 ounce per ton, and 156 ounce per ton of gold. And we had made this spectacular discovery of basically a very large and high-grade vein, which had many other minerals. It was a polymetallic district. We told the young geologists, your career's ended, you'll never see this again. But it was a great experience, and we sold it to Osisko Development 2.5 years later for $177 million. So he likes big, and he likes countries with opportunity, and he moved to Kazakhstan. And just to tell you a little bit of highlights on the rest of the team, along with Tom Bowens, we've got a Scotsman from in our project development he's a geologist, but he takes things to the feasibility, pre-feasibility, feasibility levels. We have a Ukrainian geologist, well experienced in the region as well, in Kazakhstan, who is Vlad. We have Rich Lavelle, who is he's a retired VP of exploration for Freeport, previously with Phelps Dodge. He's a 7th generation copper guy, born in Ely, Nevada, and an amazing scientist, even though he doesn't have a PhD. But he's our copper guy, along with Tom. Steve Promnitz is an Australian who took Lake Resources from a $1 million company to a $2 billion Australian company with the discovery of the Karachi deposit in Argentina, a salar. Jan-Erik Bach is a former investment banker with Stifel. He's based in London, and Erez is based in New York, formerly with Traxys. So we've kind of got a really good, we're small, but we've got some good experience. All right, so meet Kazakhstan. This is from the PDAC, and I have to say this was a picture that captured what I love a lot about the region is the cultural aspect, the people, the music. It's just an amazing place. So they had a dance and an opening. I'm not going to talk about copper because everybody here is a copper bull, so that was just a copper slide. But interestingly, Kazakhstan is one of the big advantages of Kazakhstan is the low cost of operations. So if you look at this chart, the top four companies are Chilean. I spent 16 years in Chile, and Chile used to be a very cheap place to operate. I got there in 1996, and in order to drill, we just sent a letter and said, hey, we're drilling, and these are our drill holes. Now it's a complete environmental activity. It takes very long to get drilling permits, so it's become an extremely expensive country to operate in. It's very mature. It went from being a low in the ranking on copper production to the #1 copper producer in the world, and I see this vision for Kazakhstan and for this Central Asian region in general. So if you look at the bottom of the chart, you've got Kazakhstan companies that are the lowest copper producers by 50%. So that is a really important reason why we're there, and it's a very undeveloped, underexplored area. along with Mongolia and Uzbekistan. It is the #1 producer of uranium in the world. I believe that the percentage of GDP, which is only 13% now, will grow tremendously for the mining sector. And the reason why is because Kazakhstan modernized their mining code in 2018, basing it on the Western Australian mining law. This has caused incredible confidence for foreign investors to come in, and I can tell you, my interactions with the government of Kazakhstan is they're so pro and they're so nurturing of this foreign investment. They've also got competitive fiscal terms, which is also important. They also have a very interesting multi-vector foreign policy. They really are straddling the European Union, the US, Russia, and China. I have a Mongolian friend who told me if you want to know how to negotiate with China, ask a Mongolian. Well, probably also a Kazakh as well. And we could learn something from these countries for sure about operating in that region. They have a strong rule of law. It's not a region where you're going to be worried about getting killed. So it's a beautiful place to live. It's very safe. You know, they've got a lot of infrastructure. They have tons of foreign investment right now, and the infrastructure that exists is amazing. It's got power supply, railroads, etc. I'd like to say a couple words of Mongolia because we are in Mongolia, but Deirdré has said so much, but we are big fans of Mongolia. We believe also, as well as you do, that there's 2 or 3 or 4 more Oyu Tolgois, and we actually have an idea of where to look for them. But unfortunately, those properties are not yet available. The Mongolian government is slowly becoming, starting to auction off some of these properties that we think are key to attract explorers, as well as the new Prime Minister, Zandan Chadr's government, has made a commitment to the foreign investment community. He's a banker by his professional training. So we're looking forward to doing more active things in Mongolia. So let me tell you a little bit about our copper project. It's called Provisioning. Provisioning has scale and grade. We actually obtained it from Rio Tinto, so you might not know that, but it's got 1.3 billion tons of copper at 0.37. I was interested yesterday when they were guessing the future grades, and I was thinking they were aiming high, but anyway. It has basically 4.17 million tons of contained copper, which makes it one of the largest undeveloped copper deposits globally, with potential annual production to serve a lot of the global copper needs. While it's overall lower grade, we have high grade intercepts, and it's our job and our vision to enhance those through exploration. It has a strategic location and infrastructure. It's right in Karaganda, in a established mining district. There are mines nearby, Aktagai, Deirdré, that also have similar tonnage and grades, so it's in line with sort of the district, regional district. There's direct rail access to Europe and China, existing power and water and smelters. It's a great place. Our development opportunity is we have 2 tracks. We have an oxide development nearer term, which could produce 20,000 tons annually of copper cathode with an investment of 142 million. And we have a large-scale sulfide operation, which will take $1 to $2 billion to put into production, but could produce a significant amount of copper as well. Our exciting, and this is our sweet spot, the exciting thing that we see here is right in the lower right corner where the red arrow is, that's the Provisioning deposit that has the 4.17 million tons of contained copper today, which we are enhancing and raising the grade of. But the other squares are on a trend towards a past producing mine called the Kunrad, which is just off where the red star is. And we have explored these targets. They're part of a cluster of deposits, and they have returned, our exploration has returned excellent copper grades, and both oxide and sulfide, and some actual gold as well. We have a byproduct of rhenium, which is a critical mineral, and molybdenum as well. So we believe we can double our resource just in this area. So we're super excited about it. This is just to say that we've run economics, we have a PEA, and it shows that we should keep going forward with this project, because if you can't make money, why are we here? Timeline is maybe a couple of years for the oxide production, and by then we'll be doing detailed engineering and being more in a feasibility stage for the sulfide. So I just want to say thank you for listening to me and hearing about my project. I want to say a special thank you to Jeff for inviting me to speak here and talk about this wonderful region. A shout out to Bayar Damdinjav, who's a Mongolian partner who's helped us a lot in Mongolia. And also thank you because I got to meet one of the people I admire the most in our business, which is Bob Quartermain. I don't know if he's here, but I met him for the first time. I've been following his career, and he's an amazing guy and a great interviewer. And I really enjoyed your talk too, Jason, on as an explorer. Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Since we are out of time, yeah, I think that was amazing, incredible presentation about the region, about Central Asia and Mongolia. And we invite all of you to visit the region, and we have a lot of potential and trillions worth of minerals. So please welcome, and if you can reach me out if you have any questions or comments, or these incredible leaders who are, and I'm very proud to be among you presenting this.
Likewise,
yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.